Welcome back to Wall again. And today I have two very special guests. I have Wayne and Roar, both huge Red Hot Chili Peppers fans. And you can only see Roar on the screen because Wayne's having some technical difficulties there at the moment. But how are you doing, lads?
Oh, not too bad. Not too
All
bad.
good, yeah.
It's probably definitely my favorite album of all time. And I suppose the reason why me and Wayne are here is that I'm a bass player, he's a drummer, and we both absolutely love the Chili Peppers. So it's
Great stuff.
it's actually it's probably how we met because
Yeah.
we went to college in Ballyfermot, and it was animation college. It wasn't even the music one, and like we just happened to we're talking away and we're both from around Drogheda or whatever, and because we're into music and it was like who's your favorite band? What do you play? And Chili Peppers. And mine's Chili Peppers. Like no way. So like it was actually after that then we started jamming, and we actually kind of started like we're a Chili Pepper tribute band. Like we didn't really do it get going with the gigs and all that, but we were always like out in Wayne's shed like. Like they're slapping the bass, doing I guess Flea impression, and Chad Smith. Wayne definitely was loud Chad Smith hits. So yeah, like that's how we got to know each other. So that's why I thought, well, look, I'll give when you're saying about doing this, I was like, I'll give Wayne a shout then so we can get the rhythm
That's
section
brilliant.
on.
I didn't
Yeah,
actually realize that. That's great. Yeah, it's great to have. So you guys are going to be expert now on reviewing this album because you'll know the music intently. So
yeah, and like I haven't. Like it's funny because I haven't listened to it in a long time because like you listen to it so much and you have the CD and you're like
Yeah,
playing the
over
songs
time.
and it's probably only like recently there actually when I was kind of talking to Wayne there and actually I was like geez I must actually get the bass out and learn that stuff again because I haven't played it in so long and stuff. It's really I'll be just talking about Flea here for the next half hour. Does it?
no problem at all. And
Yeah.
I suppose when did the album? So you were what age were you, Roar, when yourself and
You see,
Wayne met up?
like I yeah we won't say what age I was, but like I probably I was late getting into music. Like I didn't start playing the bass till I was about 17. Uh, so it was only kind of then like when we were what age? When probably like 20 or so, like that we were
Okay.
kind of,
Yeah.
mad into it. Like but I always remember like uh when I was like I think it was in like well it was around the time when the album came out because it was only like 10 or like a hundred people age. But I remember like hearing it and thinking like I didn't know what bass was, but I knew something was like happening. And I was like, what is that? Like what is that sound? Like, what is going on here? Like that. I just it's like something's happening here. Like I was only later, I was like, it's because of fleas, bass. It just triggered something. So that's why I play bass because of just, flea.
I
And
I was about what 10 when it came out. Was it 91 or yeah, 91.
91, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I was about 9 when it came out, but I remember I was about yeah, 9 or 10 when my brother got it and he had it on CD and I was living at home obviously at 10. I'd moved out at that stage and he was about what he would have been kind of early to mid 20s when he bought it. And I always remember like he'd always be playing his CDs in his room. Every time he was playing that when I walked in, it was always a big fuffle to turn it off. Oh shit, and run and turn it off. And I'd be like, "Oh, what's a creamy beaver? What did he say?" All this sort of thing. And
Yeah.
I had no clue, like the innocence of it. But that was my first experience of that album, and it would have been what brought me to the album would have been the actual cover as well. I know you said there, Robert, it's an iconic cover. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Oh, it's like a tattoo and all this or whatever, and it looked deadly or whatever. But yeah, it just seemed very different to all the kind of stuff that was kind of got floating about, and like Rory there as well. There was kind of a few bits and pieces kind of in songs, and I was like, hadn't a clue what it was or what was making that noise, and more often than not, it was just like a phaser or some sort of weird bass effect or something like that. But yeah, it was just like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I like it.
Yeah.
Funky.
Oh, for sure. Like just while you touch on the cover there. So that's the cover there for anyone that's not familiar. And like to say that this is an iconic cover would be an understatement. Like it's so interesting.
It's real
Yeah.
standout as well. Like it's mostly black and white, but like it does catch your eye. What's going on here? Like, so.
It's got so
Yeah.
it's got the four members. So I think this is Anthony here on the left,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lee on the top,
Hmm.
Chad on the right, and then on the bottom is John. And
That's it.
then
John
Yeah.
Frusciante.
they've got the Red Hot Chili Peppers, four words. So there's a word on each of the members' heads, and then they've got the name of the album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Again, there's a word on each of the band members' heads, and of course, as you alluded to there, Wayne, the parental advisory sticker.
That's
Yeah.
So
weird.
Yeah.
I was listening on Spotify today, and almost every song has an E after explicit content. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why Wayne's a sex addict now, because he's
Yeah.
watching
That's when my camera's
it.
off. I didn't want
Yeah,
to drop it or something in the middle of a review or
that's-
something. So
yeah. Until the case comes through, like even
yeah.
him and Anthony and Diddy's house.
yeah,
Well,
I,
yeah,
I'm
no, it
around
is.
I'm around the same age as you guys. So like it was around 8 when it came out, and I just remember the video for Under the Bridge was iconic. There was a barber shop in Drogheda there called Dom's the Green Man,
Oh yeah.
and they used to have all like the rock channels, MTV2 or VH2 I think it was called, and they'd have like Smashing Pumpkins, REM, Red Hot Chili Peppers, whatever was the song at the time, or the popular tracks at the time.
Yeah,
Video for Under the Bridge was just like iconic again, Streets of LA and Anthony running and all that kind of stuff. It's just brilliant.
Slow
the
mo
hair.
run. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously then later on when I started going out to McPhail's and stuff, and you'd have bands playing Under the Bridge and stuff like that. And then Californication came out around that time, and I bought that, and then I actually went into a Chili's deep dive and started going backwards into their catalog, and that's where I came across this album. Then. But oh yeah, like such what a great time for music the '90s was, and this was like definitely something different than
Yeah,
what there.
especially that like that's like when that was released that year, like '91. There's so many good albums, like, and
Mhm.
that was actually released the same day as Nevermind, which is mental. Like,
Yeah.
it's mad.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah,
Sure. Was
two
it?
albums that defined like a
Yeah,
generation.
the same release the same day.
Yeah. It was them, Nirvana, and the Pumpkins. All three of them toured together for their album. So, and they kind of switch headliners in between. But Jesus, what a gig that would have been like. See Chili Peppers being supported by Nirvana, and Smashing Pumpkins, and then flip side, Smashing Pumpkins being supported by Nirvana and Chili Peppers, and
Cool.
kind of spoiled.
I think it
I
was
think Soundgarden got in on that tour at some stage as well. Yeah, so
Pearl Jam were involved at some point, weren't they? At the start.
yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, the whole album. Yeah,
Amazing. Oh, amazing music. So look, I might just run through a couple of the facts on the album. So as we said, it was released in 1991. It was the fifth studio album by the band, but the second one with Chad Smith and John Frusciante.
yeah,
So they're really, I suppose, getting into their sound then as a four piece, as that classic four piece of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The previous album was Mother's Milk, which it was probably their most successful to that point, but then this album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, really blew that one out of the water.
Really
Um,
different, isn't it? Like,
mhm, yeah.
in
it's a
terms of
big step
sales,
up. Like,
sorry, Roar.
oh, go on, go ahead.
But yeah, so just in terms of sales, like it sold over 10 million worldwide. It's gone 7 times platinum in the US, 6 times platinum in Australia, 4 times platinum in Canada, and 3 times platinum in the UK. So huge all over the world. Got to number one in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and number three in the US. Nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, and it picked up the best hard rock performance for Give It Away. And it was the first album they released under Warner Brothers. So I think the album was delayed from being recorded and released, I believe, because they were trying to get out of their contract with EMI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just yeah, the EMI contract ended, and they were going to go with Epic originally. So that was apparently it was nearly a deal done, but the guy that they were dealing with in Warner Brothers, uh, he rang Anthony Kiedis and he's telling him like, he basically is to say, "Oh, well done, we'll do great with them." And he's like, "Hang on, I want to go with this guy." He lost the contract, and he's ringing me up to wish me well. So that's kind of actually how they ended up working with, like.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. And they've been with Warner Brothers ever since. Even their
Yeah,
latest their
yeah,
latest albums are still on Warner. So It was a good phone call to make.
Yeah, it was a good phone call, wherever that lad was.
By that
Good
executive,
salesman, yeah.
sure. So it was produced by Rick Rubin, was that the first record produced by Rick Rubin?
Yeah. Like I think they were supposed to work with him, I think on Mother's Milk, but just because there's so much drugs going on, I think he said, no, I'm not going anywhere near that. And I think that's probably why it probably was part of the deal to, well, we're going to keep you in this house where I can keep an eye on you and you're not going off
Yeah,
injecting yourselves. Like I think that was nearly like part
Yeah.
of the, well, if I can get them in here and stop them, messing around and keep an eye on them, like babysitting them and squeeze some work out. And I think
yeah.
that was kind of part of the deal that went along with it. But he was with them a long time. He's done a lot of albums, like
Well,
I thought, like
even the most recent albums released in the last 2 years have been with Rick Rubin, haven't they?
yeah, like
Yeah, it
I
was
don't
only
like
the dream
I
stuff that he kind of wasn't around for. It was a
yeah
Danger Mouse lad or whatever did those with. Yeah, he's done pretty much everything else since
Yeah.
yeah
Blood Sugar.
Um,
he's done a lot, like
so
but
you
like
do it there, or so they recorded in a house in Los Angeles called the Mansion. So it wasn't a traditional recording studio; it was actually a house. So they had to
yeah,
bring all the gear in, all the rigs in. And I saw that there's actually a documentary called Funky Monks,
Funky Monks, yeah,
which is on
yeah,
YouTube. I
yeah, it's
caught a
really
bit of it
good.
earlier this evening, but
Yeah.
I'm interested to watch that then, just to see.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's really good. I think it's
Yeah.
Flea's brother-in-law recorded, so he just came along, recorded as they were recording the whole thing, and like I think it was Harry Houdini's house at one stage,
Okay.
and but yeah, a lot of the recording they did. I think Chad Smith was the only one that didn't stay there. He just kind of came on his bike. He was home with his wife, or apparently he was afraid because the house was haunted. They're saying, and he did not stay, but it's more. But a lot of the record, like a lot of the vocals were done in like Anthony's room, his own bedroom. So he just set up that as like a vocal booth and recorded it there. Like so,
Okay.
um,
So they set up a vocal booth in the room for him.
yeah, literally in his room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he just got out of bed, recorded vocals, and I think how long were they there? Was it like 30 days or something? Was it? I
Wow.
think it was
Yeah,
only a
it
month. I
was
don't think it
three
was
weeks
that.
or something like that.
So
Yeah,
like,
but yeah.
it's a serious amount of like work. They really got the best out of him. Like, in
Oh,
that short time. Just they was just in the right zone, just banging out the tunes, you know.
yeah. And they had a lot of time with the whole contractual arrangement with the record companies. They had time to get these songs down,
Yeah,
um, like
yeah,
pre-production.
no.
So when they went into
And like things, yeah, like with so the sound on it, like because like with Flea, back talking about Flea again, but you kind of associate Flea with the Music Man sound, or that's kind of mostly his live stuff, and he's modulus lately and all that. Like, but the he actually only recorded two songs with the Music Man on that album. Voice String, um, Music Man, I think it was it, Righteous and the Wicked, and Funky Monks,
okay,
and he didn't even really slap on them ones. So he used like a wall bass for pretty much the whole album. Like so, like all the rest of the songs.
okay,
Because I think he kind of preferred a different recording bass to a live bass because first of all, I suppose the weight of the instrument and it was more balanced. Like the high end volume was, just as
yeah,
loud as the low end. So he kind of said, well, that sounds the best recording, but I'd never use that live because, you can't jump around. And even like his Music Man stuff that he uses live, might have higher action so he can really like get
yeah,
slapped in. Like, so it's yeah, it's weird because he has, but it's like no matter what instrument he has, it's still that flea sound. It's still that like,
sure. He's
if
unmistakable.
you give any guitarist someone else's guitar, they're going to sound like themselves. You know what I mean? Which is like, yeah, no, it's really and like it just everything just sounds great in it. Like so, like
Yeah,
I
the
suppose like
production
if
is
like
amazing. And
yeah, it's really really good.
like
Like
Rick Rubin's style, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Rick Beato on YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He does great interviews, but he interviewed Rick Rubin, and it was just posted about 2 days ago on his channel. It's like a 2.5 hour interview, but very enjoyable. And they talk about this album, and they talk about Rick's production style. Like he's not a hands-on man in terms of on the sound desk and miking up snares and stuff. He's more of a visionary, artistic
yeah, yeah,
and that kind of a way. And
trying to
so
get the flow
Brendan
out. And,
O'Brien was actually the engineer on this, and
Yeah,
Brendan went on to produce, Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and, just
Rage and all that. Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, and yeah, a legendary producer. But the sound on this album is unbelievable. Like you mentioned the bass there, Roar. Like I was listening back to it in the car and then different sets of headphones. This album, like the bass is so trebly for a bass that's played with the fingers as opposed to a pick. It's really got a punch and a high end to it.
yeah, yeah, he really digs in, like, you know what I mean? Like when he's, especially his finger style, it's very like aggressive, like, you know.
Yeah,
But and it's good, yeah, it's got good like different mix, like stuff like you probably know more, like the guitar sounds in it are like, you know, lovely chorus, sounds lovely, like, and then you like the, I suppose, like Breaking the Girl, 12 string acoustic on that, like it's just real full sound, and like even it's funny when you listen back to it and you hear all the other stuff going on in the background as well, like all
yeah. There's a lot
the
of overdubbing on it that
lot of overdubbing,
you
like,
listen
and
back a
then
second time, you can really hear it.
yeah, you can hear, like, especially like the uh percussive stuff, like Breaking the Girl, the pots and pans, like them ding,
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding. There's
yeah,
loads on, but apparently they went to a local scrapyard and they all like picked up like bits of metal they could find, like hubcaps and all that, and then just that's what they recorded for the, they all just sat around in a little circle and recorded all their little junkyard finds on it, on, you know. And then there's other, like, you know, Mellotron and other stuff going on under it as well. Like, so yeah, it's really,
yeah.
there's a bit of organ here and there. Like, so there's a lot going on. Like
There's a good
it's
another Rick Beato interview with Brendan O'Brien as well. And he
Yeah,
was going on about the production of it and saying that it really should never have worked because I think they were looking at other houses in the Hollywood Hills, and nobody would lease them out or they couldn't get it, and they kind of agreed to this one kind of last minute. And
yeah,
they were saying the acoustics in it should have been really shitty, but that everything actually came out because they didn't engineer the shit out of everything. It came out very, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
like raw, nearly, like the way
Yeah,
the
so,
natural
I was
groove,
like
like, yeah,
saying like
yeah,
some of the songs, like I know they were saying like the drums, they would have mic'd up an overhead, a snare, and a bass drum, and that
yeah,
was it. And they're like, that's unheard of for recording an album like that. I was like every tom mic, every cymbal nearly has a mic, and they're saying it's
yeah,
just like, let them go in, and some of the takes, they had all four of them in the one room, or they might have had three of them in the one room, and Anthony just doing the vocals separate. But they're saying there's an awful lot of crossover with feedback and everything like that. But it was
yes.
all very raw, and it wasn't done to death. With everything being done over and over. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think with a band like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you can do that because there's so much space in the instruments. Like
Mhm.
there's room to do that.
yeah.
So it's not like there will be bleed between instruments on mics, certainly when they're playing together, but it's not like overpowering. If you try to do that with a band like Metallica or something, it wouldn't work because everything would be bleeding into everything else so much. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
like this
They
album
have their
is
own,
great.
yeah. I suppose yeah, with the one guitar as well, like, and
Yeah,
like,
one guitar
and
and
they're
some
such
overdubs.
a
Yeah,
jammy like band that jam to get, like, they're probably their strongest stuff is when they're playing live and they're just in the
yeah,
zone. They're just playing away, jamming away, and that's why it kind of nearly works if they're all playing together, because they can, like, yourself, like when you're jamming with someone, you're like getting into the groove, and you're like, yeah, yeah, I can feel this, it's kicking off.
oh, for
But
sure.
yeah, no,
Sure.
that's definitely what I mean.
I just
And
want
it's
to talk about the snare sound because this is the 90s snare sound in my opinion. You
Yeah.
hear it on like the Pearl Jam stuff, you hear it on REM stuff. It's just unmistakable snare sound. Wayne, do you know much about what he's using there? How is it a compression that he's using to get that pop on the snare? Because it just sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think it's more so just his style. Like no matter what snare he's played over the years, he just absolutely letters it. As far as I know, I think he was just playing. I don't think it was anything special. I think it was a just a Pearl Master snare for most of it. I think.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, they were saying they didn't have a lot of dampening on the snare. They just kind of let it ring and that.
let it
But
ring. Yeah, I noticed that.
that's just his style. Like, um, and even on Mother's Milk as well, you can really hear it on that. Like it just absolutely cuts through everything. So I'm not sure if he had his
When you
signature
had
snare.
a Chad Smith signature snare, didn't you? You still
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it.
My hearing's starting to come back now since I got rid of it.
So's
So
mine, that's right. Man, everyone plays electric kits these days, you know?
Yeah.
I sold to a lad
Don't
down in
listen
Kilkenny.
anymore.
I can hear him playing it every now and again if I open the window.
I still get that pitch, that ring in my ear, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. He's a hard hitter. God, no doubt about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Brendan deserves a lot of credit on this one for getting that sound because it's amazing. Like it really drives the album. The drums and the snare sound particularly in this one. And just in terms of guitar, like I think the guitar sound is very understated on this album. It's not overpowering. On the melodic songs like, Breaking the Girl or I Could Have Lied or Under the Bridge, it takes more of a center stage in terms of an instrument.
Yeah,
And then on the faster paced stuff, it's really like a rhythm funk kind of a groove
yeah,
stuff going on. And you can really hear like that strat sound. Um,
yeah,
it's great, but they don't mess around too much. Like they EQ it, but they don't go overboard on the settings and stuff. From what I can hear, it's very
yeah,
much
no, it
let
is.
John Frusciante just do his thing. It's a guitar into an amp. He might have maybe an overdrive pedal or bit of chorus maybe or reverb, but like they really don't do that much to guitars, and that's part of the beauty of this album.
And it's really like, as much as it's going about the bass, but like it really is John Frusciante's like his songwriting skills, like the difference from, Mother's Milk to that, where he's just like, you say all this melodic stuff, he can rock out, he can funk out. It's got groove, it's got a bit of everything, you know what I mean? Like it's your ballads, and it's like it's
Yeah, there's so many
just
styles in
has
this album as
so
well.
many different styles in it. That's why it's like completely like different. Like it's just like random songs just drop. As you kind of listen to different styles of music, it was nearly that in the 30 days they had or whatever. Like so.
Yeah. And the album starts off with what is it? The power of
Power
a
quality.
yeah.
Strong start.
Very
Straight
Yeah.
strong
there.
start, but like that's all. I think it starts off the guitar is panned hard left, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Very strange, to start an album that way. And
yeah,
I was listening throughout the album. What they'll do is they'll pan the guitar hard left. The drums will be panned to the right, not hard right, but they'll be panned
yeah,
very much to the right. And I think they've got like the drum room sound panned left. So you're getting this weird sort of especially if you listen on headphones, it feels
yeah,
like the drummer is in the corner off to the right, where you're getting
Yeah.
the ambience of the whole room.
yeah.
I
It's
don't,
nearly like the guitar
it's
is
through
like
with them.
in a like like say like if you're in a pub or a nightclub and you're in the Jackson, you can just about hear the music outside muffled, and then it's like
Yeah.
ding 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 ding, and then you open the door, it's like and then it all
Yeah.
just hits you.
It definitely
I think it was
pulls you
nearly
in
like turn it up.
so quiet. Like
It's one of my
it's like
speakers broken.
It's like a lot, yeah, low
yeah,
sound, yeah,
it's like the drums and the vocals and the guitar. As I said, it's kind of like this mute kind of thing. And I like my first memory of that was every time. Well, I remember vividly the first time I heard it and that I played it myself. And I turn it up and turn it up, and there's something wrong with this. And I kept turning it up, and then all of a sudden the bass comes in. And you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
And you're just
And
like,
then
blows your
everything
mind.
else
wow.
kicks in. You're like, yeah, boom, boom, boom. And then, oh shit, turn that down, whatever. And you get
Yeah,
the, turn that fucking thing down, whatever. And this, that, and the other. But yeah, it really is one of those kind of, it's just a dangling carrot.
Yeah,
It just reels you in. You're kind of getting closer and closer, and bang, the whole lot
yeah,
snaps
and
in.
it's good high energy. Like it's like a confirmation is around the world or something. Just a good like, just want to get you going. Like
Yeah.
that's I suppose
Yeah.
their style get you hyped. And yeah, guitar sounds lovely. It's like stereo chorus pedal or something he's using. But
yeah,
and then like like the bass, there's not really a lot of effects bass wise. He keeps it like obviously on the just on the end of that song. There's a bit of the bit of the
Yeah.
envelope filter is kind of all he ever uses. But obviously in sort of Psycho Sexy, that's when the envelope filter
yeah.
goes to 11 on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, they don't leave much gaps between the songs, I noticed.
No, it seems to
But
be like
like, apologies, it's actually the second song, if you have to ask. That's where it starts off with the guitar pan hard left, I believe. But they just go straight from one song into the other. The energy is kept
yeah.
on,
Yeah. It just all rolls into one, really.
yeah, it's
And really,
great.
when you listen to it, like if you listen to one of the songs, you're kind of like your brain. straight away goes into the next song when you think, oh,
Yes.
that's gonna come in now.
Story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're just waiting for that next one. Yeah. Oh, it's always the sign of a good album that. So
Yeah.
guys, if you had to pick three or four songs, say four songs, because I know it's going to be hard. What would be the four out of the 17 on the original album release?
I tell you two, I would not, and I always skip. It
Go
is
on.
Under the Bridge and Give It Away. It's to me like when I listen to the album, I see them as separate hits, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, fair enough.
I listened to them so much
They're
that
just overkill, man.
I love the other stuff. I love it, but I don't know, it's hard to pick. Do you want to go first, Wayne? Because I'd pick
Pick
the other
four.
50.
Right. I'd probably say Breaking the Girl. I think that's the only song that they've ever played in three, four times as well, which is mental for a band that's gone that amount of time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's very I think it was like kind of like Led Zeppelin-y, kind of like flower hippie kind of vibe, more like
yeah,
kind of groove about it, which is like when you go from even the song before or after, like it's so funky to that,
Yeah,
and
it's a
it's
break,
it's
isn't it?
such a yeah,
they
it is.
haven't really
It's
done
really
anything like that kind of in any of their
no,
albums before. It was all kind of just mad fast
yeah,
slap and
you wouldn't
bass
got
sort of funky
anything like that.
shit. Yeah, so that was kind of like a shock to the system. It's like, whoa, they can play something like that.
And if you think
Um,
like going from Mother's Milk, say the whole album is kind of the more punky funky stuff into say the first two songs of this, and
yeah,
then into that, yeah, as you're saying, Wayne, like it's like that's the first time you hear it, you go, oh, hang on, they can do this as well.
yeah,
This is different.
yeah. It shows like another better in their cap. Like,
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That would have been one of my
you
four
got
as
that
well.
one. Yeah, I suppose then next up will be "Suck My Kiss." That's probably as bass and drummers. Um, that would be one of those kind of nothing, way over the top technical, but just so
Yeah,
in your face hard beat,
just
and
riffy,
it's
like
yeah, it's
So
just
much
so
space
solid.
in that song. Like it has such an impact because the groove is so tight and there's so much space in it. Like there's
yeah,
the parts there, I believe that the bass and drums actually aren't playing. There's like a half second
yeah,
here.
yeah, and you have to get that ding, ding,
That's fine. Yeah,
all the
yeah,
little stops right. Yeah,
Stoppy starty bits, yeah, yeah, it's cool. Like it's straight in. There's no mucking around with it. It's just bang straight into it, and it doesn't really let up. Like, but as you said, it does have those little subtle gaps to
yeah.
kind of break
and
it up. But
it usually
it's
ends up
cool,
with
cool
like
solo in that as well. I love John's solo in that as well. It's
Yeah.
kind of not really what he's done before. That sort of usually kind of bucket load of distortion or just something really really funky. So he's kind of a bit all over the shop in that solo. I don't even know how you describe that. You're a guitarist, Rob. I don't know what way you describe a solo like that, like or
Yeah, I get the impression with John Frusciante, he's very much an improvisational guitar player. So
yeah,
he'll know like right, okay, he'll know what key it's in, he'll know how he wants it to sound, and then he'll probably do like five takes of the guitar solo and they'll pick the best one. And when you
it
go
yeah.
really
see it
sounds
live,
reverse that one, doesn't it? Or something. Is that the
oh,
one where did he reverse that one solo or something?
That's
Or am I
give it
thinking of
away.
something
And
else?
he has that
Oh, that and
reverse.
give it away. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Um,
it's
pure
a
energy, I think he's going for. He's going for a vibe, you know.
yeah.
He's
No,
not
he is.
too worried if he's hitting everything 100% perfect. And that's great because you can hear that. It's a bit like Jimmy Page or Mike McCready or Jimi Hendrix, you know. They're going for a performance and it's just
Yeah,
capturing that magic, that energy.
you can
it just
hear the
comes out.
last couple of notes of the solo as well. Like it's like you can nearly see him struggling to hit those last couple of notes, kind of, get the take, whatever, and it's just put in anyway. So it gives
Yeah,
it that
Um,
kind of that it's not, mixed within an inch of its life. It's more
exactly.
authentic.
And this is what's so important about this album. It's alternative rock. You know, it was 1991. Things were changing, but it was this album and Nevermind that allowed
Mhm.
things to change. You know, from being, in the studio, everything engineered to within an inch of its life and everything perfectly auto-tuned. It was leaving that behind, and that's a great example. That song is a great example of alternative rock and opening the door for the 90s.
yeah, no, it's
Definitely, yeah.
great. Like I remember, like back when me and Wayne were playing it, as you're saying about the stops. you'd usually be looking at it's usually a guitarist, the old skinny stringers let the side down. You'd be looking over, giving the me and Wayne be looking at each other with the disapproval, going, they missed that bit,
Yeah.
But we'll let you away with it,
Oh,
Rob.
we
We'll
were
make
all
it
over
like
the
you.
top guitar players. We don't. In a
We'll
band like
make
the
them say,
Chili's, it's a dream because you're just playing on top of a
you
strong foundation,
can do what you want to.
Yeah.
Um,
So that was, I think that's two, Wayne, and I think Rory agrees.
yeah, you've agreed with, but I think Rory's going to agree with all of them unless I
Yeah,
say
I probably I
original
think we kind of like this saying, yeah, it's hard to like to pick. Will I do two or
Mellowship
will you keep
Slinky as
going?
well. Is that one of
Yeah,
your four, Mellowship?
yeah, it's a good song that one.
I just think I don't think they've ever done a song as funky as that before, even, and that's saying a lot because before all their stuff was, George Clinton, mental funky stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
There's something about Mellowship. It's just, even the bridge in that song, I think, is probably my favorite bit of a Chili Pepper song.
yeah,
It's just the most unexpected kind of, over the top funky bridge that you'd ever hear. Like, it's just unbelievable.
yeah. No, it's good. That's one with the piano as well, isn't there? Like a ding 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 ding. More overdubs than that one,
Baby
like.
piano, yeah, Flea, knocking the
Yeah,
shit out of
because
the
they used
roof.
to do a lot of what was the thing they do, like their shoot off where there's bits and songs like that where they'd say, I want to do this and want to do that, and they kind of two of them would play their bits, and then they kind of have to vote who or
Yeah,
flip a coin or something like that, and whoever wins, then they go, right,
that's
that's
it.
what
Yeah,
we're doing. That's the rhythm bit we're doing for that. If it works, saves the rows.
Cool. And have you one more, Wayne?
The last one, then I would probably say, I was going to say Sir Psycho, but I'll leave that for Rory because of the bass.
You knew what I was gonna
Yeah, I was
say.
like, I won't go there. Bitch slap me around next time I see him. I would say the greeting song.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Just because I remember trying to learn that originally, and obviously a self-taught drummer, hadn't the breeze what I was doing. I could not get the bass drum parts down of it, and I just remember watching. I think it was Chad Smith's Red Hot Rhythm or something years later, and he was showing him playing that, him and Flea, and it was just the two of them, even just mucking around, making a shitty video, whatever. The two of them were so tight on that, like
Yeah.
it was just like telepathic how tight they were, and it was just it was so cool. Like, but yeah, just the beat in that. I love the guitar in that as well. The guitar in that is really really
yeah, it's
cool.
heavy. And
Um,
like a lot of people say that that's their least favorite song on the album, and Anthony and Flea don't like that song. And I
yeah,
think Flea said it wasn't strong enough to be on the album or something, and they said like, you just
come
wrote
here.
a
They
song.
put their
But
red hot at the end of it. Come on,
yeah,
like.
they were red out at the end of it.
I
But
know. We're coming
yeah,
into the last minute there, guys, and I'm going to be knocked
Go,
off.
Rory, go for it.
Rory, is
okay,
there
right.
anything you'd change from the four that Wayne's listed?
No, like the song, like I suppose like stuff like I Could Have Lied is a really nice song, like do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think he wrote that about Sinead O'Connor.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And she said it. She hates that as well.
She
But
must have been
just
underage. She must have
she
been
must be,
underage
yeah,
for him to
yeah.
write it.
I'm
But
assuming it's a 10 out of 10 for you, both you guys, is it?
oh, absolutely, yeah, 10 out of 10,
Absolutely,
yeah,
yeah,
love it.
100%. Still
Right.
Slap of the
obsessed.
bass.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to be cut off here, so I'll need to end abruptly. So, listen, thanks very much for joining us. A really good chat there, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Definitely have you
There you
back
go.
on if you're interested.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I'll even
worries.
get my
Yeah.
camera working the next one.